this lesson. A few points. So you need to kind of go over these points so that you will get a clear idea of the lesson. Okay? Now the first one, writer's message, K.A. Abbas. He is the writer of the lesson. What does he want to highlight through this lesson? Whenever you read a lesson, always keep this point in mind. Put it at the back of your mind. What does the writer want to insist upon? What is the kind of problem that he wants to highlight upon? What is the message that he wants to give to the reader? Every lesson, whenever you read a lesson, always keep this point in mind. Not only in class 10, 11, 12, degree. In every lesson, there is some message for us, or the writer might like to kind of insist upon something, tell us something, and you have to catch hold of that message. That is the theme of the lesson. So every lesson has a theme, and the theme is the message. What exactly is the writer's message in this lesson? Women's empowerment, that is what he wants to insist upon. Women should be educated, and empowerment becomes possible only if women are educated. Education brings about a social awareness, a change in the society, and education for women make them to be aware of their rights and dignity. This is the most important point. When you are educated, you will come to know what kind of rights you can inherit. What are the rights that you can enjoy? What are the rights for which you are entitled? Entitled in the sense which belong to you. You have a right. Okay. So, women's empowerment, women's rights, and women's dignity. You see, Boli was not considered as a girl, but a commodity. Saleable commodity. And we have lots of proofs, evidences to prove this in the lesson. Right from a childhood, partial treatment, boys and girls. Because Ramlal sent all the boys to the city for their education, girls were not given any importance. When the marriageable age arrived for the girls, they were married off. Boli was not sent to school, not even given a bath. Not even treated like a human being. Even basic hygiene was refused to this girl. So, the writer wants the readers, especially girls, to understand the dignity that they are supposed to live with. It is your fundamental right for education. It is your fundamental right to take decisions. So, education only can bring this difference, this change. And that is what the writer wants to highlight. That is what the writer is focusing on. His focus is on this. Second one, you see Boli, Sulekha. Who is this Boli and who is this Sulekha? Sulekha is the real name of Boli. Yes or no? But she was never even called by that name. No identity. Name is your identity. What is your name? Rekha. So when I call Rekha in the class, only Rekha will stand up and respond to me. What is your name? Annapriya. When I call Annapriya, only she will respond to me. Why? That is her name, and her name has an identity. So even the name was not used. The real name of Sulekha was not used. Everybody called her by the nickname Boli. What is the significance of the name Boli? It has a lot of importance in the lesson. What does it signify? What does it tell? What does it highlight? She was not considered as a girl, but just a commodity. She was not bright enough to learn her lesson. She was not smart enough. Her personality, her outlook, in the sense her appearance, a lot of pock marks on her face, brain injury, okay, all these made this little girl Sulekha to live as Boli. Simpleton in English, pure English you can call it a simpleton. Who is a simpleton? Who is not smart enough, who is dull. okay, who is dull-headed, who is a dunce, or who's a duffer in the class. Some students may be very slow in picking up, so the others call her, hey, she's a duffer, she's a dunce. Not able to pick up the lessons, not smart enough. So, that was the condition of Boli. Lost her identity. Never lose your identity. Okay, your name is very important. Okay, parents. What is the role played by the parents as far as Boli's life is concerned? Were they serious and responsible towards her? Or were they negligent? If they had been serious and responsible towards her life, then they would have definitely treated her as a human being. She was not even given clothes, worn out clothes, old clothes. They were passed on. Old clothes of her sisters were passed on. So, they never focused on her, never given bath. Okay, long locks of hair, matted hair, okay, full of dirt settled on the head, hygiene. They didn't care for her. So, parents were negligent. So, K.A. Abbas, the writer, is focusing on the duties, responsibilities of parents as well. Well, if you have children, you have the responsibility to bring them up in the way that they should be. Should give importance to them. Should treat them with dignity and respect. They did not do that. And when it came to the marriage of Boli, Boli's mother said, give her off to Bishambar. He's 50 years old. Doesn't matter. You won't get a boy for her. Because she's a dumb cow. The name given to Boli was dumb cow. Worse than an animal. So, the parents were negligent. He's hitting at the parents directly. See, when you read a story, don't just read the story alone. Not the surface level. Surface level reading will give you the meaning of the story. But what does the writer want to highlight? What does he want to focus? What does he want to insist upon? Go deeper. So, even in future, in higher classes, you must always analyze the story. What we are doing is an analysis. Okay? This analysis will help you to understand, grasp the entire meaning, what the writer wants to say. Sometimes he will give a simple sentence and give a very deep meaning. If you go only by the meaning, you won't understand what he wants to say. Dumb cow, for example. Dumb cow means a cow doesn't speak, a cow that doesn't speak. But why is Boli called as a dumb cow? Humiliation, sign of humiliation. Unable to speak, unable to express her feelings. So neglected by the society. Okay, this one. Parents' role. Boli's experience at school, very, very important. This seems to be the most important part in Boli's life. Memorable period in her life. This was the time, her experience in school, okay, turned her life around. Complete change. Right about 10. Okay. A change was possible. The school was a place of change. School was a place of change. Why? When she went to school in the beginning, she was afraid. But after some time, when she saw the atmosphere in the school, all the children staying together and learning, reading the books, writing all the slates, involved in a lot of activities, shouting, laughing, she reached a place where she should be. She reached a place where she should be. She reached the right place at the end. Peer group. Peer group is very important. So she saw the girls of her own age involved in different activities of learning, and she felt very happy. She wanted a friend. She wanted a friend because she was neglected. And she thought, this is a better place than my home. When she was treated differently, given a bath, put on a good dress, okay, right, given some good food and taken to school, she understood something better is going to happen in my life and I am going to a better place. Because her father had told her, you have to go to school. So she thought school is the right place for me. And it is in school the change came over. And Boli understood her talents. She became aware of what she possessed. She became aware of her potential. She knew what she could do. She could say her name, tell her name. She could read the passage given by the teacher. So her capacity, her abilities came to light. I can do this, I can do that. That is when you progress. The moment of progress begins only when you feel that you can do something. That positive thought. Till that positive thought comes into your heart, no progress is possible. Take my word. Take my word. Until and unless you feel that is something possible by you and you get the feeling that you can do something, progress will not come. She understood. Though she was a child with a brain injury and pock marks on her face, with low IQ, she became intelligent. How was it possible? Understanding, realization, knowing yourself, knowing your potential. This happened. And the teacher's role. What is teacher's role? Somebody has to be behind you, to push you, to motivate you, to encourage you. So who was the guiding force? Teacher. Bodhi's teacher was the guiding force. If you have a guiding force in your life, definitely you will progress. Somebody. Behind the success of every man is a woman. But you can also put it in another way. Behind the success of every man and woman is a teacher. That influence, that spark. You see, motorbike. All of you might be riding Activa and Scooty and all that. Most of you might be having vehicles. So how does the vehicle get started? You press, what do you call, the starter, and then you accelerate the vehicle. So the moment the engine gets started, the vehicle moves. But there is a part in the motorbike which is known as a spark plug. What plug? Spark plug. So air and petrol, they get mixed up. That is known as combustion. You can ask your physics teacher. So ignition, combustion, in the right, what do you call? Quantity. So there is a kind of another spare part called carburetor. So what is the function of the carburetor? To mix air and petrol in the right ratio. When air and petrol get mixed up with the right ratio, combustion starts. And combustion is nothing but ignition. And what ignites? The spark plug ignites. It's a very important part, a very small part. But if the spark plug is not there, it will cost you some 60 to 70 rupees, at the most 100 rupees. But if the spark plug is not there, the engine will not get started because it is the spark plug which creates the ignition. There is a small spark which starts. Okay, starts off. And with the sparking of the plug, with the spark that is generated, the carburetor starts functioning. So, the teacher works at this Bodhi's teacher worked as a spark. Ignition. That was a role. So she ignited Bodhi and Bodhi with the spark that was created in her heart began to learn, and finally she understood what education is. So that ignition made her understand what it is. Turned her life around, and the teacher's role cannot be neglected in this lesson. Then, should girls be aware of their rights? This is a point, almost similar. Should girls be aware of their rights? Yes, they should be. Until and unless they are aware of their rights, they will never be able to take progressive steps in their lives. There are hundreds and hundreds of examples. Women to show how women, what to say, progressed in their life. Hundreds of examples. Right. So, awareness of your rights, awareness of your potential, awareness of what you can do to the society. Okay, be aware. That's right. Socrates said, know yourself, who you are. Check yourself as to who you are. Examine yourself as to find out what are the capacities, talents, and potential, okay, that you have. Only when you see it, you will come to understand. Okay, you see the sea, SEAC, is very calm on the surface. Waves surging. But the deeper you go into the sea, the more interesting and fascinating creatures you will come to know. See the Discovery Channel, National Geographic and all that. Some kind of serials related to the sea are shown. So the deeper the diver goes, the more the creatures come to his light. Unique creatures, strange creatures, fascinating creatures. How do you come to know? You have to take the plunge. You have to dive deep to see what is there underneath. If you don't dive, but just be satisfied on the surface level, all that you will see is just water and the waves. Nothing more. Maybe a few fish which come up to the surface to breathe. But the deeper you go, the more you find what is there on the bed of the ocean. Okay. Full many a flower is born to blush and see. Okay. There's a beautiful poem by Thomas Gray. So he says that the caves of ocean bear rare gems. So cave means the deepest part of the ocean. The deeper you go, the deeper you'll find. Okay, the better you will find, or the more things you will find, more valuable and precious things that you will find. So you have to go deep into yourself. That is the point. Go deep into yourself, understand what you possess, and just understanding is not enough. You have to exercise yourself. What is the meaning of exercise? Put your talent into use. That's enough. That is the most important. You feel that you can sing well, just don't sit back. Okay, I can sing well. Very good, I am happy. That's not going to be of any use. If you can sing well, then you have to come forward and sing. Participate in the competitions. You can write good stories, maybe. You must start writing. Put it on the notice board of the school. Go to the teacher, sir, this is my product. This is what I've written. This is my piece. Check it. Put it. You have to expose yourself. Exposure. That is one more thing the writer has taught. Then go on discussing. There are many things to be discussed in this lesson. Expose yourself. Only when you expose yourself to the crowd, to the people, to the public, you will be able to understand how important you are and what are your potentials. You have the capacity to give a good speech, talk in front of the public, then come. Whenever there is an opportunity, you come forward and deliver your speech. Sharpen your skills. It is not enough to understand the skills, but what is more important is to sharpen the skills. And sharpening comes through exposure. The more you expose yourself, the sharper you become. You see, the butcher, he always sharpens the knife. Butcher, you understand? When who cuts meat, he has long knives, different kinds of knives. Cleavers are there, choppers are there, okay? Carving knife is there, hundreds of knives. But what does the butcher do? Every now and then, he sharpens a knife. Okay. Abraham Lincoln once said, if it would take 2 hours for me to cut a tree, I will spend 6 hours in sharpening the axe which I used to cut the tree. Clear? If it takes just 2 hours for me to cut a tree, I will spend 6 hours in sharpening the axe. So what is required? Sharpening. Understand your potential. Try to bring out your potential through exposure and keep on sharpening yourself. That is updating yourself. If you don't do that, you won't become important. You won't be known. And you will just die as any ordinary man or woman in life. But that is not what we are meant for. We are meant to give something. We take something from the society and we give back something to the society. That is it. Okay, be aware of your acts and then parental attitude, we are already discussed this. Okay, so these points, if you can grasp these points, well and good, and go home and read this lesson. That is very, very important because it deals with one of the most important issues or a burning issue of women. Okay? Right. Now I will be giving you some questions to take down the questions. Number one. Question number one. Question number one.